I'm meteorologist John Dawson. This is the Fox 26 YouTube Tropical Update, keeping you updated with what's happening out there in the tropics. And this is the time of the year when things definitely start slowing down. We've been showing you that line graph, and showing the peak and when things slow down a little bit. So I thought I'd give you a break from that graphic today and talk a little bit about the names before we kind of jump into things just a little bit. A reminder, if you weren't aware, that this list of names is rotated every 6 years. And there are, again, 5 other lists just like that, a total of 6, and they're rotated every 6 years. So if the names Anna, Bill, Claudette, Danny, if those all look familiar, because those were used in 2015. Now, the exception, of course, is if a storm is deadly or destructive enough that the World Meteorological Organization decides it should be retired. And that is the case with the E named storm. Elsa was new for this year, as was the J named storm. Joaquin and Erica were retired from 2015 and replaced again with these new names. The other names are left the same. Now, we still have one left on the list for this year. And if you'll remember last year what happened, we would normally switch to a Greek alphabet after that, but there's a new plan that's been put in place at the beginning of this season if we were to use all of these names. Now, we keep using this list of names all the way through the end of the calendar year, although we officially end our hurricane season on November 31st. We would continue to see the names continuing as we move on. And so we'll continue to see if we make it to the end of November and need that name of Wanda. At this point, things have really quieted down, though. We had talked about how busy it's been since the beginning of August, all of August and September, very busy. And then as we get into the end of October here, things have become quiet across the entire Atlantic basin. Caribbean also having some rain and shower activity, but nothing, maybe a tropical wave in there, but nothing expected to create or form into a tropical system. And this is actually this little bit of storms that's down here in the southern portions of the Gulf is kind of that leftover from where that frontal boundary was that moved through the Houston area on Friday. And as I talked about, we have a new list of names for a supplemental list. So we're not going to use the Greek alphabet. If we were to get to Wanda and then we needed another name after that for this year, this would be the list of names that's used. And this will not be rotated. This will not be changed. This is sort of a set supplemental list. If they needed to retire a name, then they would go ahead and use that. So every year, this would be the supplemental list of names that we would get to. And Audria is the first one on the list, and Bray Lynn would be next if we were to get to some named storms. So hopefully this list of names is something that we never get to, but you know how things have been so active as of late. There's probably a good chance at some point we might need to do that. And certainly we're set up this year with all of the activity that we've had using up all of the names, that there could be some more, just 2 more would be needed in order to get to that new list of names. Glad you're watching here on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel as well. If you want to search meteorologist John Dawson, that's how you'll find my YouTube channel. All of the hurricane gear test segments that I work on regularly are going to be there. And of course, if you want to find me on the other social media, you can look up at John Dawson, Fox 26.